What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through the trades that we ended up taking on Friday, as well as the game plan going into this week. So Friday was an absolute banger of a day, and our day was done before the market even opened. I shared with you guys in the last video that I was in a long overnight, and we bottom ticked it. Trade, I think, was up like 150, 200 points when I was already making the video, and then obviously you guys know how Friday went. The market just ripped face the entire day, so that was a 500-point trade. I'll recap it again just so you guys know, what the trade was, why I liked it, and why I had such conviction in it. So Friday, this is what we looked like. If we pull up the Friday contracts, this tells us the trend in the market. So we started off on the 30-minute here. This is actually the wrong contract. It's supposed to be the 675s. We had the 675 puts, 685 calls, and when we opened up, we ended up opening up right at this 30-minute 50 major spot here on the 30-minute. There's nothing to really take a trade off of with just this chart alone. This kind of gives you the sense of where we're going and what the current outlook is. So market was still bearish off the open. I wasn't really the most bearish in the world just because we hit major spots in the market. You can see here on this 4-hour 50, I went over, I think, in the last video. We didn't actually end up crossing yet, so we did break above it, didn't cross yet. Still a chance this could come back down and reject. And given we were at the what's it called? We were actually at the monthly contracts 50 SMA here on the daily. So this is what I like to use the monthlies for. If you guys don't know what the monthlies are, if you look on Thinkorswim and you look on the option chain or probably any like brokerage like Webull, you can see there's the entire chain for all the expirations, and then there's one, like all of them I think say weeklies maybe, and then one of them doesn't have anything, doesn't say weeklies, and that's the monthly contract. So the February 20th expiration are the monthlies, and I just use these for the higher time frames. Like the daily chart is kind of the big one you want to be looking at, because this is your major resistance here. This chart on the daily and this 50 SMA, when we pop up in here, this marks the bottom so many times, and yes, like once in a while this chart will actually cross, but this is just such a good indicator to kind of see where a potential bottom could be forming. So we end up breaking into this daily 50 on Thursday, and on Friday I was leaning a bit bullish, even though that 30-minute chart was still crossed. I did favor this kind of just breaking down and going back neutral. So that's kind of like the thought process going into Friday. We're still bearish, but do I think this trend's going to last? Probably not, if I had to guess, just based on that monthly contract. So our trade for the day was actually overnight. It was an overnight trade, Thursday night into Friday, and this is what we took. So if we go on ES, if you guys were watching like after hours, the market went like it dropped a ton after hours. So this is what we looked like after hours. So I think 60 is it 1800 is the open, I believe 1800 is the open right up in here, and we just dropped what? We dropped 6-7 all the way up 6-7. It's crazy. 67 51 was the low, and I tried too long, so I got stopped out initially because I bought right here on this tap, and I went with a super tight stop loss on NQ. I literally got like instantly stopped, like within like 30 seconds. I had a 20-point stop on NQ when ES hit this level, and I got stopped immediately. And then once we broke below it, obviously, so I had a tight stop. This drawdown or this move down didn't affect me at all. Once we reclaimed this level, this is where I went long. So on the retest of this fib right here is when I went long on NQ, and if we look on the 30-minute, you can see that candle ended up getting back above the fib level. So we reclaimed this fib. We were starting to reclaim this fib, bought the retest of it on the 5-minute, and my stop was super tight on this. My risk was probably only like 30 points max on NQ. I literally said, if we close below this level, I'm gonna get out. And I even told Discord, when we pulled back to this level, I was still in it. I wanted to see a more of a significant close below this level, which we never got. You can see we ended up pulling back to this level again. I actually added a little bit more. I added one contract of MNQ. I didn't have, this was such a big trade, but at the end of the day, I only had 3 MNQ. Really not much size, but I was able to just hold it for a very long time. So that's kind of how I ended up trading this trade. I'm like making a massive gainer, but I had small size on it because I just let it run. So yeah, we bought this retest down in here. Trade was up like 100 points at NQ on this move up in here. Didn't take any trims because this is not what I was looking for. I was looking for a very big move out of this trade, and we pulled back, still in the trade, and look at the move we got overnight. Where were we? So yeah, look at this move all the way up in here. Actually, I'm just gonna flip the NQ so you guys can see. I mean, because this is what I actually ended up trading, but I mean the fib level kind of lines up the same as well, but NQ is just the pair I ended up trading, and yeah, we ended up buying down in here right at, I think 53 was the fill. Let's see, did we actually end up going lower at 53 right here? Okay, we did. I was down what, like 20 points? No, less than that. 15 points at one point, and look at this move. 353 all the way up to 575. This is where I ended up trimming. Once I was up 200 points, I took a contract off, and then I just held this the rest of the night, and you can see the move we ended up getting. We pulled back a bit, but stop loss was break even, so if they wanted to come back down, stop me out, sure, I would have just got out even on the rest, but that didn't end up happening, and we just ended up trending higher into the next day, overnight, and I ended up selling this right, let's see, I think it was like 7 in the morning. I woke up and I saw this trade still, you know, ripping, so I ended up getting out of this right at the next fib level on ES. So yeah, this is 705. I ended up closing this. So if we look on ES, I'm pretty sure it lines up with this fib up in here. So 705, yeah, literally that was the top right up in here, and I'm selling at that fib level, and you know, that was just a textbook trade. That was 500 points on NQ. Held this the entire night, just had my stop loss break even, and yeah, went to bed, woke up 7 in the morning, and look at this move we ended up catching. I mean, this is such a good move. That was the, you know, short-term top of the overnight move. It pulled back what, 50 or 66 to 45, so 20-point move, and then it just ended up breaking higher the rest of the day, and there just wasn't much opportunity on Friday in the morning, because look at this. You can just look at the price action. Price action was 100 times better overnight than it was during the day, besides this opening move right up in here. Aggressive pump off the open, and yeah, kind of just a slow grind up rest of the day. Candles super small, not worth trading this, and we end up hitting this upper fib level, which I actually did enter a swing on puts, but I ended up closing it. It probably ends up playing out. Only reason I did close it was because we did go like 10 points above the fib. Fib level never broke though. We never got the closure above, so really, if you wanted to, could have got back in these puts. Still a valid trade to take this short off of 69.51. But I do really like a trade or a short overnight to catch at least to this like next fib right down here at 6,900. Just because if you look on this chart, look how many fibs we ended up breaking through into the close here. So I'm gonna take the after hours chart off just because I already recapped that trade from overnight. So I'm gonna put just the regular trading hours on here, and you can see you know, we ended up breaking through how many fibs. So right off open, we broke over 1 fib, we broke over 2 fibs, and we're at that 3rd fib. So this has been a setup the last couple days that we've been playing both on the upside and the downside. When we reach that like 3rd fib on the day, very high probability that this is going to end up rejecting that level or bouncing off the level if it was you know, the 3rd fib down on the day down in here. So that's why I kind of like this trade. 69.51 short, could ride it to 6,900. I'd expect probably some sort of pullback into here, but you know, we'll see how we open up. You could try probably a short overnight, and you know, once we're up like 100 to 150 points, move your stop even, and you know, trim along the way. I kind of like to go, you know, trim around like 150, 200, move stop break even, and then you know, if we're not at the next fib level, then look for that next fib level to take profits at. So like in this instance, you could kind of use this 69.26 as a take profit. You could probably trim half there if you want, just because it is a solid level for take profits. I mean, if we pull back here, that's like 25 points on ES, so still a solid move. And you know, you could trim half here, stop even, and then if we get down to 69.01, you could take it all off at. So yeah. That's kind of where we're at going into this week. When it comes to the fib levels, all right, so I'm going to go over these again just so you guys can kind of get a refresher of when you change the levels and how they work. So right now, we have not changed the levels from last week. We're still currently using the same ones, and I'm going to go over this again. I think I said in the last video or the video before, but this 30-minute chart is very key in determining you know, what you're looking for the fibs. So we have this bearish trend going, cool, doesn't mean anything with the fibs. And then once we cross negative, so once this 10 estimate crosses below the 50, and we're neutral on the options contracts, neutral market for the options, you want to see, you got to look for what 2 fibs are we between when this cross down happens. So as soon as we cross negative, where are we? What 2 fibs are we between? So when we cross negative here, we were between the 69.01 and the 69.51. So that is our range, you could say. And what we want to do is wait for one side to break. So if 69.51 breaks higher, this is where we change the fib. So if we get a candle closure above 69.51 on the 30-minute and we go at least 10 points above the fib level, then we would change the fibs, and you would change them to so this 100% level goes at the top, 100% at the top. The 0% now goes at this recent swing low that we had. So this is pretty much the swing low of this recent bear trend that we've had, and this is the last swing high of the previous bull trend we had. So that's how you get the fib level. 0% goes back down to here, 100% goes back up to this top here, and that's your new range, or not new range, but that's how you get the new fibs. And for scenario number 2, if we break back below 69.01 and we never break above that 69.51 fib, then we keep the fibs as is, because this is as if we're still in shorting the rip mode with the fib levels, because it's pretty much, okay, when we cross negative, what's the market going to do? Is it just going to slam back up and regain the trend on the 30-minute, or are we actually going to break higher and possibly see a bull trend? So if we break higher, we buy the dips. If we break back down lower, we're still in shorting the rip mode. So yeah, that's kind of how you go about navigating the fib levels and how we get them every time we have like one of these instances of buying the dip or shorting the rip. That's how you do it. I'll be sure to go over it in every scenario where we're close to kind of possibly changing the levels, just so you guys understand it. But that's how you go about doing it. I'll probably be shorting tonight. I like the setup. Trim half at 69.26, sell it all at 69.01, and that'll be that. If we open up higher and break the fib, okay, tomorrow market open, I'll be looking for some sort of 0 DT cross or some sort of dip to buy on the fib. So yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join the Discord down below. That's where I'm at all day, every day, and that's where I share the trades. But one more thing, the 0 DT chart wasn't really something I was paying attention to on Friday. I mean, if you look here, we got this nice cross on the 5-minute. If you wanted to, you could have played like a 10 SMA reclaim, like right up in here, reclaimed, and then we saw a nice move higher the rest of the day. But this wasn't really a trade I was taking, just because I really wanted to see some. If there was a trade, if I was gonna be taking a trade on SPY, NQ, whatever during the day, it had to be like a really nice setup. This wasn't really one that I was itching to take or anything. So yeah, it was a very slow day anyways. I mean, nothing too crazy, so I was fine with setting out at the market open. But that's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed. Join the Discord if you want to learn. I'm out. Peace.